Hi, my name is Pam Denny. I'm the designer and architect of the Maximo BI or Business Intelligence tools. And in today's demo, I want to highlight some of the best practices related to the new ad hoc features in Maximo 7.6. And to do that, I'm going to start with a PowerPoint and talk about our Maximo users in relation to SIG option access. Often when we talk about our Maximo BI or Business Intelligence users, we use a pyramid, and the pyramid shows categories of users in relation to their skill sets. So if we look at our users on the bottom here, we have our Enterprise Report users. Our Enterprise Report users are categorized by users who access a small number of applications and a small number of reports in Maximo. As we move up the pyramid, we say our application user. This type of user is going to access more applications and also more reports. And then in the middle of our pyramid is our power user. This is the user that wants access to everything, all applications, all reports in Maximo, and they often ask for back-end database access. And then at the top of our pyramid is our developer and administrator. And these are the users that actually produce and maintain the report content. They're not the report consumers who consume the data, which is these three groups of individuals on the bottom of the pyramid. Now the reason we show them in a pyramid is to signify two things. First off is that the largest percentage of our user is typically down here at the bottom with our Enterprise Report user, and then the percentage decreases as we move up the pyramid. But also what's really important is this diagram over, or the arrow over here on the far right hand side, which shows as we move up the pyramid, the user's skill sets within Maximo increase, and also their database knowledge and need for database consumption increases. Well, why are these users important in relation to ad hoc reporting? Well, it's very, very important that with all the new ad hoc features available in Maximo 7.6, you carefully evaluate the user's skill sets and job requirements before giving them all the ad hoc reporting features. This again is very, very important because with a new capability in Maximo 7.6, you basically can create your own very complex reports, and we want to make sure that the users that are doing that have the skill set to do that so the correct data is returned in the report. Again, we always want to make sure the correct data is in the report because users will be using those reports to make business decisions. So to make sure this is set up properly, this is our recommendation of how the different ad hoc reporting features should be applied to different skill sets and users in your environment. As we noted, our enterprise user, this user is going to be executing reports. They're not the user that has the skill set within Maximo or also the business need within Maximo to create their own ad hoc report. As we move up the pyramid, our application user, they have a need to analyze data now in more depth. So this type of user is going to be given the ability to create an ad hoc report. Also, a subset of those users will be given the ability to apply a summary to an ad hoc report. And a summary is where we're able to take an attribute and define if we want to add, for example, a total of that attribute, or a min, or a max, or an average. In the middle, we have our power user. The power user is the one user who's going to be given access to all the ad hoc reporting features in 7.6. They're going to have the ability to create the ad hoc report, create a summary, and apply a summary, and also add a calculation. Calculations can be very simple, where we may be adding or subtracting a few different attributes, but they also can be very, very complex and can also have a number of different SQL functions involved. So again, the person that has the ability to create a calculation is very skilled in Maximo, has a very strong depth of the Maximo database and understanding that, and also is very careful and conscientious, so that person who's creating the ad hoc report, we know that the data resulting from that is correct. So let's look at these again in more detail. Here's our enterprise user. The enterprise user, small number of applications in Maximo, small number of reports. So in this case, he doesn't have create report access. He's only able to execute reports other people have created for him. Our application user, Caldone, in this example, he's able to create an ad hoc report. He has the base capability available in 7.1 and 7.5, where he can select one or more attributes, define the sorting, grouping, filtering of his ad hoc report. And enabling that, there's two SIG options required. First is run reports, which is the base, and second is create reports. Now as we move into that next level of our application user, in this example it's Ganesh, notice that when he creates an ad hoc report, there's an additional tab here, and the tab is called Summarize. And the Summarize tab again is what I mentioned, where he can define totals, min, max, averages, etc. for different averages. And the SIG option that enables that, if we're looking at the same security group application, he has the run report access, he has the create report access, but now this new SIG option to enable the summary tab to display, which is over here. And then our last user, Jenny B, in this case, she has access to everything. So again, notice how her ad hoc reporting dialog continues to expand with this new Calculate tab shown here right in the middle. And the Calculate tab is where you're basically adding new columns onto the ad hoc report. And to enable this and everything that is shown on this screen, a couple of key things: the run report base access, create report, here's the Calculate tab access, the summary tab access, and here in the middle is the Ad Hoc Public Access. What this is saying is that when Jenny creates a report, if she checks or enables this button, what that is going to do is anybody who has access to reports in that particular application can see the reports that she creates, because she has that level of skill set and knowledge that her reports can be shared with other individuals. So again, the person, the power user who has access to everything, these are the SIG options enabled. For someone who's just going to have the summary field, these are the SIG options required for that. And then for our base user who's just going to have the ability to add fields onto his ad hoc report, he just needs the ability to have the create report SIG option access along with run reports. Well, let's go over here to Maximo 7.6 and let me show you this at a very base level. And I'm going to sign in as our first user. Sometimes I don't type and put passwords in and talk at the same time very well. So let me go over here to work order tracking. Let's come over here to create report, and notice here's those three tabs. This user can still build a very powerful report. You know, he can navigate in here within the report object structure or the hierarchy, add those selected fields, and you know, maybe he's going to add that single asset field, and then he can preview his report. So this is the capability, that is available today in 7.1 and 7.5. This is for that base application user. Well, let me sign out here of Caldone, and let's move into that next level. In this case, I'm going to bring up Ganesh, and Ganesh is a member of our scheduling group. And let's see how the capabilities of creating a report has expanded. Now I create report, and notice here's that additional Summarize tab. I can still come here, add my individual attributes to my report, but look what happens when I click on Summarize. Well, let's add some of these values. This is a whole new tab that I have access to. Let's take the duration. Let's just do a total of that. And just real quickly, let's add to it and preview our report so you can see how the depth of capability and the types of reports is going to be greatly expanded. Here's the duration that I added right here, simply by giving that user access to that additional summarize field. And now let's me sign out the last time, and let's go in as Jenny B. And make sure I put her password in there correctly. And now let's go to work order tracking, and let's see now what the entire package looks like. The entire 5 fields: style, content, calculate, summarize, and format. Again, these fields are the same as we had before. You know, maybe I just want to put that asset tag in there. I come over here to calculate, and now look, I have all this capability to create different expressions or different fields that will display as columns on my report. I'm not going to do too much here, but let me just grab a couple of fields just to kind of highlight what you can do here. There's other demos that go into this capability. That's just going to say this is a total cost, and let's add that expression. Let's also, while we're here on summarize, let's take an actual finish. Let's grab the maximum date, and now let's preview that. And so you can start again to see how the types and the depth of the functionality that the user has expanded. Here's that total cost that I have. Oh, I must not have added the summary. Yep, I didn't add that. I always forget that sometimes. Let me preview that again. Correct my mistake there, which is always the beautiful thing about ad hoc reports. Just quickly run them back and forth. Here's my maximum finish state, and here's that additional column that I've added. So again, with this user, Jenny B, she has access to everything. And then I highlighted as we went through here how you may want to give some people access to just the summary tab or just the 3 main tabs: style, content, and format. So again, I just want to highlight that the Maximo76 ad hoc reporting best practice here is to carefully evaluate your users, their skill sets, their business needs before granting them access to everything, because with some of the new features in 7.6, there's there's a large depth of functionality, and we want to make sure that everyone has the skill set to utilize that, so all reports that you produced are accurate and complete. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Thank you.